Okay.
But no, I wouldn't say history overwhelms me. Other things overwhelm me, but not history, no. Because I think if you're not careful, history can be a real weight and an anchor around you.
The royal world has been shaken once again, and this time the heartbreak centers around Prince William. Once seen as the steady heartbeat of the modern monarchy, the future king now faces one of the most painful and personal challenges of his life. For years, William has carried the weight of both duty and expectation. First as a grieving son, then as a devoted husband and father, and ultimately as the man destined to lead the crown into a new era. But recent news has revealed a struggle that no royal title can shield him from. Behind the polished smiles and formal appearances, Prince William's private world has been marked by deep worry, uncertainty, and emotional exhaustion. Reports from insiders close to the family describe a man torn between his royal responsibilities and his desperate wish to protect his family from public scrutiny. The loss, fear, and sorrow that once defined his mother's life seem to have come full circle, and now, the echoes of Princess Diana's pain weigh heavily on her son's shoulders. In the last few months, those closest to Prince William have noticed a visible change. He's quieter, more withdrawn, and often lost in reflection. What has truly happened inside the palace walls has remained a closely guarded secret, until now. Because the heartbreaking news that has emerged reveals not just the fragility of royalty, but the vulnerability of a man who has always been expected to remain strong, no matter the cost. For Prince William, the crown has always been both a destiny and a burden. From the moment he was born, his life was mapped out for him, every smile, every step, and every decision placed under the world's microscope. Yet no amount of preparation could have readied him for the pressures he now faces as the monarchy's most stable figure in an increasingly unstable world. The heartbreaking news that has surfaced doesn't simply concern public duty. It strikes at the core of William's personal life. Those close to the royal household have quietly revealed that the Prince of Wales has been carrying a heavy emotional toll, one rooted in both personal tragedy and public expectation. Ever since his wife, Catherine, Princess of Wales, faced her health struggles earlier this year, William has been forced to juggle the impossible, being a supportive husband and father while fulfilling the demanding obligations of a future king. Behind palace doors, insiders describe a man visibly exhausted by the emotional weight of it all. His once effortless charm during royal engagements has, at times, been replaced with a subdued solemnity. The man who once radiated confidence now carries a quiet sadness that even the cameras can't disguise. He's trying to be strong for everyone, a close source shared. But you can tell it's taken a toll. William has always been deeply protective of his family's privacy, especially after watching how relentless media attention affected his mother, Princess Diana. Her tragic passing left scars that never truly healed. To this day, friends say he still fears history could repeat itself. That fear intensified when Catherine began facing health concerns. William reportedly scaled back his royal duties to spend as much time as possible at home with her and their children. But the heartbreaking reality is that the world continues to demand more of him. Every headline, every public appearance, and every word he utters is dissected by millions. Even as he attempts to present a calm front, the cracks are beginning to show. At recent royal events, viewers noticed how withdrawn he seemed, his smile appearing forced, his eyes tired. In one moment captured during a public engagement, William was seen gazing down at his wedding ring, lost in thought, as if silently praying for strength. What makes this moment particularly difficult for William is how closely it mirrors his parents' struggles. He has often spoken about learning from his father's mistakes, choosing love and partnership over royal protocol. But even love, it seems, cannot always shield one from heartache. Catherine's illness has not only reminded him of how fragile life can be, but also of how lonely the royal path truly is. While the public sends well wishes and the media swarms for updates, William is left fighting his battle in silence. There is also the growing tension between duty and emotion. As the heir to the throne, he cannot simply disappear from public life no matter how heavy his heart feels. The late Queen's mantra, "Never complain, never explain," still echoes through the palace halls. But William is a different kind of royal, empathetic, modern, and deeply human. Those close to him say he struggles with the idea of pretending all is well when his family is facing such emotional strain. Friends describe moments when William isolates himself in the countryside, taking long walks alone near his Windsor home. He finds peace in nature, one aide revealed. It's the only time he can truly breathe without being watched. Yet even in solitude, the weight of his role never fully leaves him. The heartbreaking news surrounding him isn't just about illness or personal struggle. It's about watching a man who once symbolized strength begin to quietly break under the world's expectations. To the public, he is a prince. To his children, he is a father. But to those who truly know him, he's a man still haunted by the ghosts of his past and the uncertainty of his future. And as whispers grow about the future of the monarchy, one question remains: can Prince William continue to carry the weight of his crown, or will it finally become too heavy to bear? To understand the heartbreak Prince William faces today, one must look back to the defining tragedy of his childhood, the loss of his mother, Princess Diana. Her death didn't just mark the end of a beloved royal figure. It left an unhealable wound in the hearts of two young boys who watched their world collapse in front of flashing cameras. William was only 15 when the news broke that Diana had been killed in that horrific car crash in Paris. That night, his life changed forever. From that day forward, William carried not just grief, but the unspoken responsibility to protect what was left of his family. He became his brother's quiet guardian, his father's reluctant comforter, and his mother's living legacy. Even as the world mourned Diana, the young prince had no choice but to grieve privately behind palace walls. Those close to him recall how deeply he internalized his pain. He rarely spoke of her, but his eyes always betrayed a lingering sadness, a silent echo of the boy who had to grow up too fast. Now, decades later, that same grief has resurfaced in painful ways. With Catherine's health struggles and the intense media attention surrounding his family, William has found himself reliving the very nightmare he spent his adult life trying to escape. The relentless cameras, the speculation, the half-truths, all of it feels hauntingly familiar. For him, every headline that mentions Catherine's condition is a painful reminder of how his mother was treated. In her final days, insiders say William has often confided in close friends that he feels history is repeating itself. He's terrified of losing her, one longtime family aide shared quietly. He's seen what public pressure can do to someone's spirit, and he would do anything to shield his wife and children from that. In public, William maintains a calm composure, just as his grandmother once taught him. But those who know him intimately say that in private, the prince's emotions are far more raw. There are moments when he breaks down, a friend revealed. Moments when he looks at his children and sees his mother in them, her smile, her laughter, and it brings back everything he's tried to bury. The world often praises William for being the royal who most embodies Diana's compassion, humility, and grace. But carrying that legacy is not always a gift. It's a burden, too. People don't just see William. They see Diana through him. Every act of kindness, every tear, every struggle is compared to hers. That constant comparison, while meant as a compliment, has made it nearly impossible for William to truly escape his past. When he looks at Catherine, he sees the same qualities his mother once had: kindness, strength, and the ability to connect with ordinary people. That's what makes her recent health challenges all the more devastating. Catherine is not just his wife. She's the emotional anchor that keeps him steady in the storm. Watching her suffer has forced William to confront the same fear he felt as a boy, the fear of loss, of being powerless, of watching someone he loves fade before his eyes while the world watches. Those close to the family say William's greatest struggle isn't just his wife's illness, but the memories it has awakened. He's been forced to revisit the trauma he spent years trying to overcome. It's like the past has come back for him, another source confided. He tries to hide it, but you can see it in his eyes. He's carrying that same old pain. And yet, despite the emotional turmoil, William continues to fulfill his duties with quiet dignity. He visits hospitals, supports mental health charities, and speaks publicly about resilience and empathy, perhaps as a way of comforting himself as much as others. He understands better than anyone that life within the royal family comes with a price, and that love in his world is often shadowed by sorrow. But as the pressure mounts and the memories deepen, the question remains, how long can he continue to be the pillar of strength when his own heart is breaking inside? For most of his life, Prince William has lived behind palace walls, protected by privilege yet confined by duty. The ornate halls of Windsor and Kensington may look like sanctuaries from the outside, but for William, they have increasingly begun to feel like gilded cages. The pressure of being the future king, combined with his family's emotional struggles, has left him in a place of quiet isolation. Those who have worked with him describe a man burdened by loneliness, even when surrounded by people. As Catherine continues to recover in private, the demands of royal life have not slowed down. Each day brings another meeting, another charity visit, another speech where he must smile and speak with calm reassurance. Yet, behind that stoic mask lies a man trying desperately to keep his world from falling apart. A close aide recently revealed William is exhausted, emotionally, mentally, physically. He's trying to do it all, but he's human. And sometimes, even princes reach their breaking point. Inside the palace, tensions are rising. The pressure to maintain the image of a stable, united monarchy is immense, especially with King Charles's own health struggles. Every public appearance of William and Catherine is carefully managed, every photo scrutinized. But the truth, insiders say, is far more fragile than what's shown to the world. William has been quietly taking on more responsibilities, preparing for the inevitable day when he will have to lead the monarchy. Yet the timing couldn't be more difficult. Privately, friends have described him as torn in two, between his role as a husband and father and his destiny as the next king. It's a conflict that has haunted him for years, but never as painfully as now. He spends more time at home with his children, helping with bedtime stories, school projects, and small moments of laughter, trying to preserve a sense of normalcy in a life that's anything but normal. But when the children are asleep and the palace grows quiet, that's when the true weight of his reality sets in. William's inner circle says he has grown distant from some family members. His relationship with his brother, Prince Harry, remains strained. Though there were hopes of reconciliation during difficult times, those hopes have largely faded. He wishes things could be different, one royal insider admitted, but too much has happened. And with everything else going on, he doesn't have the emotional strength to fix it right now. Adding to the heartbreak, William has also faced criticism from the public, people demanding updates, questioning his leadership, and speculating about his wife's health. For someone who spent years fighting to protect his family's privacy, this constant intrusion feels like a cruel echo of his mother's past. He's terrified of the media doing to Catherine what they did to Diana, a longtime royal correspondent said. That fear has never left him. Despite his turmoil, William remains dedicated to his duties. He knows his mother would have wanted him to carry on with grace, no matter how hard things get. But even so, the emotional cracks are starting to show. During a recent royal event, those close to him noticed how he lingered in silence after speaking with a group of children, his gaze distant, as if lost in thought. You could see the sadness in his eyes, one attendee shared. It wasn't just tiredness, it was heartbreak. For William, the palace, once a symbol of stability, has become a place filled with memories, pressures, and ghosts from the past. Every corridor seems to whisper reminders of his mother, his childhood, and now, his own family's pain. He's living in a place that has given him everything, said one close friend, and taken everything away at the same time. As the future king, he cannot simply walk away. But as a man, he faces the unbearable truth that sometimes even royalty can feel powerless. And for Prince William, the palace walls that were meant to protect him are now the very walls that keep him trapped in heartbreak. As the days pass and the world continues to speculate, Prince William stands at a crossroads unlike any he's ever faced. The heartbreaking truth is that the future king, once viewed as the monarchy's strongest pillar, is quietly unraveling under the weight of his crown. The last few months have tested every part of him: his faith, his endurance, and his ability to remain composed in the face of overwhelming emotion. And while he continues to serve with grace, the cracks beneath that royal calm are becoming impossible to hide. Behind closed doors, those close to William say he's grown quieter than ever. The man who once spoke with passion about modernizing the monarchy now spends long stretches in reflective silence. He often walks alone through the palace gardens at dusk, lost in thought. He carries his pain privately, one royal aide revealed. He doesn't complain, but you can see it in his eyes. He's worried, he's tired, and he's scared of what's coming next. The heartbreaking news surrounding his family has changed him. Friends say the past few months have aged him, not physically, but emotionally. Every challenge, every whisper about Catherine's condition, every reminder of his father's health adds another invisible scar. For a man who already lived through one of the most public tragedies in modern history, this new storm feels eerily familiar. Yet, even as the weight of the monarchy bears down on him, William refuses to show weakness. He continues to appear at public events, smiling, shaking hands, and comforting others, even when he himself is in need of comfort. It's a form of emotional discipline he learned from his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, whose steadfast composure became the royal family's guiding principle. But deep down, William is not just following tradition, he's fighting to keep his family's dignity intact. In recent months, he's reportedly made several private changes to his daily life. He's reduced travel, spends most of his time near Windsor, and ensures that he's home in time to read bedtime stories to his children. His world has become smaller, said one palace insider. He doesn't care much for the glamour or grand events anymore. His focus is on his family. That's what matters most now. But with the king's health raising quiet concerns within royal circles, the inevitable question looms: how long before William must step fully into his father's role? And is he ready? Those close to him say he's torn between two powerful instincts: duty and love. On one hand, he feels bound to uphold the legacy of his grandmother and father. On the other, his heart tells him to protect his wife and children from the same pain he endured growing up. That internal conflict has left him emotionally exhausted. He doesn't sleep much, one friend admitted. He spends a lot of nights reading, thinking, or simply staring out the window. He's trying to prepare for the future, but the future keeps changing faster than he can control. In public, the world continues to see Prince William, the calm, collected heir. But behind the palace doors lives a man wrestling with grief, anxiety, and uncertainty. He's learning painfully that being the modern face of the monarchy means bearing not just the crown, but the sorrow that comes with it. And yet through it all, William's quiet resilience continues to inspire many. Those who know him best say his love for Catherine and their children keeps him moving forward, even when the road feels unbearable. He's doing it for them, a longtime friend shared. Every handshake, every speech, every appearance, it's all for his family. That's his strength. As the future king stands on the edge of a new chapter, the heartbreak surrounding him has transformed him, not into a hardened monarch, but into a deeply human one. He knows the road ahead will not be easy and that his every decision will be judged. But just as his mother once did, he leads with heart, not pride, and perhaps, in that quiet determination, Prince William will not only carry his family through tragedy, but also remind the world that even kings can bleed, and even crowns can break.